Good day to all of you and welcome to this presentation. My name is Dr. Suresh. I am the former professor and head of Department of Cardiology, Medical College, Trivandrum, and currently I am working as the head of Department of Cardiology in SK Hospital, Trivandrum. We will be having a discussion on some aspects of heart diseases with special focus on heart disease in women, especially since today, the 8th of March, is the International Women's Day. Disease in any organ of the body is disturbing, but heart diseases are particularly alarming since they can be potentially life-threatening. I have here with me some frequently asked questions, often asked by patients and relatives. So let me start by trying to answer some of these questions. Let us start with something easy and simple. What are the different types of heart diseases? This of course depends on the age of the subject. In the infant or in the newborn, we see mostly birth defects of the heart, the so-called congenital heart diseases. Later on in life, it can be either children with birth defects who grow up into adulthood or children who have acquired valvular heart diseases due to various causes. And in a country like ours, one of the most common causes for valvular heart diseases is secondary to rheumatic fever, which itself is a consequence of what might be a simple sore throat. From the Middle Ages onwards, perhaps the most dreaded form of heart disease is involvement of the blood vessels of the heart due to a process called atherosclerosis, the so-called coronary artery disease, or in simple layman's terms, heart attacks or equivalents of heart attacks. The list is endless. We have diseases of the heart muscles, we have diseases which involve the covering of the heart, the pericardial diseases, collection of fluid there. We have diseases involving heartbeats and the rhythm of the heartbeats known as arrhythmias. It could be fast heartbeats, it could be slow heartbeats. And finally, one of the ultimate consequences of all forms of heart diseases at all ages is the inexorable development of heart failure, the prevalence of which is increasing these days and is especially so in the elderly. One of the frequently asked questions is, what is a heart attack? What is the difference between a heart attack, a heart block, and heart failure? Do all these terms mean the same thing or are they different? A heart attack is due to a total occlusion of blood flow through a major blood vessel which carries blood to the muscles of the heart. This occlusion is the result of a block developing inside the vessels. Blocks develop in blood vessels as a consequence of an aging process called atherosclerosis. Deposition of cholesterol in the insides of the vessels is the starting point. Gradually this worsens as the deposits increase in size with resultant compromise in blood flow to various portions of the heart. If the blocks that develop within the vessels are partial, people do not develop heart attacks immediately. Instead, whenever the heart needs more blood, like when a person is exercising, walking up a hill or upstairs or doing some work, the partial blocks limit oxygen supply to the heart and the patient experiences symptoms which get relieved as soon as he or she takes rest. However, eventually these partial blocks can progress or the partial blocks can develop small injuries in its covering and expose the underlying substances to the blood flow, and blood cells sediment, form a clot, and the clot transforms a partial block into a complete block. So when there is a total block, this leads to complete stoppage of blood flow and oxygen to the muscles of the heart and irreversible damage to the muscles of the heart. This is a heart attack. So in other words, a heart block is the cause and heart attack is the result of a disease process called atherosclerosis. Heart failure is something totally different. It is the ultimate consequence of all forms of heart diseases. The muscles of the heart become so weak that they can no longer perform the basic function of the heart, that is to pump blood adequately to the various tissues of the body, and that is when heart failure occurs. One of the frequently asked questions is what causes heart attacks or heart diseases? The causes for heart diseases depends on the type of heart disease. For example, birth defects and congenital heart ailments may be due to genetic causes, or it can be due to illnesses that the mother has had during the first trimester of pregnancy, or it could even be due to drugs which the pregnant mother may have taken, especially in the early months of pregnancy. Valvular heart diseases, on the other hand, are mostly the consequence of infection, especially secondary to rheumatic heart disease in India. Rheumatic heart disease, as we said earlier, is the end result of what may begin as a very harmless sore throat, which is followed a couple of weeks later by joint pains, swelling. The carditis or involvement of the heart in the initial phase can inexorably progress to established valvular narrowings or leaks in later life. Heart attacks which occur in later life are due to premature aging process of the blood vessels. It is a disease known as atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis, we should remember, is a normal aging process. However, many factors, the so-called risk factors for heart diseases, predispose to the earlier appearance of atherosclerosis and its accelerated rate of progression. In other words, young people of 30 to 40 years will have the blood vessels of a 60 or a 70-year-old person. These risk factors are broadly grouped into two categories. They may be non-modifiable risk factors such as advancing age, gender. For instance, being born as a male itself is a risk factor. Attainment of menopause in ladies and a family or ethnic predisposition. These are all non-modifiable risk factors. However, there are many other risk factors which are eminently modifiable. These include lifestyle factors such as smoking, mental stress and tension, lack of exercise, overweight, poor dietary habits, etc. And also illnesses such as high blood pressure, uncontrolled diabetes, high blood levels of cholesterol, obesity, etc. One should remember that atherosclerosis is an inevitable aging process. Presence of risk factors only speeds up the process. Absence of risk factors, however, does not guarantee that disease would never occur. Another usually asked question is, what are the presenting symptoms of heart diseases? How does one recognize that there is heart disease? Chest pain is probably one of the most common symptoms of heart diseases, especially coronary heart diseases in the adults, which occur due to the blocks. A heart attack is characterized by severe, agonizing pain in the front of the chest. It's often like a weight on the chest, a severe oppressive feeling with profuse sweating, and often spreading of the pain into the arms, the neck, the jaws, the chin, the back, etc. Sometimes it may be associated with belching, hiccups, or vomiting. This pain of a heart attack usually lasts for 20 to 30 minutes or even longer, but certainly it does not last for several days continuously. One should, however, remember two things. Number one, every chest pain need not be due to a heart attack. There are a lot of other conditions which can also cause chest pain. These include acidity from the stomach or the esophagus, bone and muscle pains, diseases of the lungs or the coverings of the lungs called pleura, pain due to gallstones, etc. So, although it is unwise to ignore a chest pain thinking that it is only acidity or gas, it is also not necessary to panic with every chest pain thinking that it is a heart attack. The message is that a screening evaluation should be done in every instance of chest pain to rule out a cardiac cause. Another thing that one needs to remember is all heart attacks do not need to present with severe chest pain. Very often, the presentation of a heart attack may be very unusual with atypical symptoms. Could be breathlessness, persistent vomiting, even loss of consciousness. And at least in some people, especially in diabetics, heart attacks can remain absolutely with no symptoms at all, the so-called silent heart attacks, which are particularly alarming because both the diagnosis and the treatment can get delayed. Other symptoms of heart diseases include severe breathing difficulty, especially on exertion like walking or climbing stairs. But in advanced heart diseases, even at rest, people may feel breathlessness. Breathlessness is actually a symptom of heart failure, whereas chest pain is usually a symptom of heart blocks. Another symptom is palpitation, fast or forceful beating of the heart, an uncomfortable awareness of the beating of the heart inside the chest. This is usually a symptom of either valvular heart diseases or diseases in the rhythm of the heart. It is often said that heart diseases are less common in women. Is this true? And if so, why? It is indeed true that women, especially until menopause, are less prone for the development of heart attacks. Not for all forms of heart diseases, but certainly true with regard to the coronary diseases. Although various reasons are suggested, the main reason seems to be the protective influence of the female hormones, especially the estrogen hormones. The periodic blood loss due to menstrual cycles, the lower levels of blood cholesterol, and probably the higher levels of protective good cholesterol, the lesser predisposition to the clotting processes are all additional reasons attributed to the protection enjoyed by the ladies from heart attacks. However, one should remember that this special genital protection which is enjoyed by the ladies gets lost under certain circumstances. One, of course, is menopause. The protection is there for perhaps 5 to 6 years after menopause, but certainly 5 to 6 years after attainment of menopause, ladies and gents do not differ any longer in their predisposition to heart attacks. Diabetes is another disease which abolishes the gender difference. Diabetic ladies have an increased predilection for the development of heart attacks. And finally, although it is not too common in India, smoking is another factor which abolishes the gender protection. Any lady who smokes carries the same risk as a male who smokes. Use of oral contraceptive pills or birth control pills is also perhaps another factor which leads to an increased risk faced by the ladies. It is recognized that heart diseases are less common in ladies. But is it true that heart attacks and heart diseases are less serious also in women? Is that true? Certainly, that is not true. In fact, there are many complexities surrounding heart diseases in women. First of all, the presentation may be very atypical with non-specific, vague and uncommon symptoms. Hence, the ladies may not realize that what they are having is a heart disease. Heart disease may not be suspected, or the recognition of heart disease may get delayed. And the inevitable consequence of this delay is that delay in diagnosis translates into delay in appropriate treatment also. Compared to the males, use of modern treatment options for heart ailments, be it angiography, angioplasty, or even medical treatment, is much less utilized in the ladies. It is said that the blood vessels, the coronary blood vessels, are often smaller in ladies, and hence the response or the results to various procedures like angioplasty or stenting is less optimal in ladies as compared to the males. One should also realize that many of the less recognized risk factors such as mental stress, depression, lack of exercise, lack of adherence to proper diet, modulation of weight are also more common in the ladies. Compliance to medical treatment, especially after getting heart ailments, continuing uninterruptedly long-term medications, adherence to lifestyle modifications, these are all less in ladies as compared to the males. One particular form of heart disease that is seen in ladies is heart attacks or angina with a normal blood vessel, normal coronaries. This is known as the syndrome X or microvascular angina. Numerous studies have shown that such ladies do have a higher rate of recurrence of events on follow-up, even though the coronaries are normal. What can one do to ensure health of the heart and prevent heart diseases? Knowledge of what causes heart diseases, what predisposes to heart attacks, the so-called risk factors that lead to heart attacks is crucial in our attempts to prevent heart attacks. Primary prevention refers to our attempts to prevent development of heart diseases by controlling these risk factors. Even more important would be pre-primary prevention, which means our efforts to prevent even the development of risk factors which might ultimately lead to a heart disease. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle is most important. One should avoid tobacco use totally. Those who smoke should quit or stop this habit, and those who don't should make sure that they never start this habit at all. This is perhaps the most important risk factor and something which can be nearly totally corrected. Regular exercise is equally important. Being sedentary at work contributes to weight gain, obesity, and poor cardiovascular health. Walking outdoors for 40 to 50 minutes daily at a reasonable pace, or any other form of exercise, jogging, swimming, playing games, use of the treadmill, or other health equipments at home, all can be resorted to. A healthy diet is very important. One should include lots of fruits, vegetables, and nuts, and must avoid high fat content in the diet, especially the trans fats. Consumption of red meat such as beef and mutton should be minimal, and people with diseases like high blood pressure or high blood sugar should pay special attention and restrict the use of salt and sugar in the diet. Stresses and strain of life is another factor that enormously predisposes to development of not only heart diseases but also many other conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, which leads to heart diseases. Collectively, these are called the lifestyle illnesses. Finding time to relax and unwind is very important in maintaining health in the body and mind. Prayer, listening to music, meditation, even regular practice of yoga, perhaps most importantly the practice of yoga, all help immeasurably in maintaining heart health. Finally, periodic medical examination, even if one is absolutely healthy, to screen for illnesses such as diabetes, high blood pressure, lipid disorders, etc. Early recognition of these illnesses and prompt control of such illnesses if detected is vital in keeping heart diseases at bay. Very often, these illnesses may be totally asymptomatic and detected only on a routine medical checkup. We know that if left uncorrected over a period of time, these illnesses can lead to heart diseases. Absence of symptoms should not make one lax. The key in prevention is striking very early. So I would like to conclude my presentation today by reminding you of an old proverb. Prevention is better than cure. Nowhere else is it more true than in the field of heart diseases. Certainly, we have achieved vast advances in the treatment of heart diseases, but the crucial thing is prevention and preventive cardiology. Thank you.